Welcome back to Cronkite Sports Live, where it's been quite the journey. Listen, we've got a fantastic show lined up for you, analyzing the impact of Taylor Kelly on Arizona State football, as well as breaking down last night's huge 6-4 victory for Arizona State hockey. But first, a little inside baseball for you fine folks. After my good friend, former partner Trey Lanthier took the promotion up to management, it took us almost 2 months to settle on his permanent replacement. But now, here we are. Jacob Garcia, whom you've seen a great deal of before, both at my side as a temporary anchor and perhaps more gloriously as one of our premier football analysts, will take his place here at the big kid table for the rest of the calendar year. Jake, I couldn't be happier to have you here.
I greatly appreciate it, Kyler. I think I'm going to take my time at the desk, kind of like Rocco Mediate took the 2008 U.S. Open. Just happy to be here.
Listen, I'm going to tell you the same thing Bradley's girlfriend from Sublime told him. You're not the only one, but you're the best. With that said, we've got a jam-packed show lined up. We're going to kick it off with an in-depth look at hockey's big win last night. So, now that we're here, I'm Kyler, he's Jake. Let's get to the sports.
Let's get to some action last night from Oceanside Arena. ASU D1 hockey against the Liberty Flames. Robert Levin has been nails this year for the Sun Devils, but just a minute into the game, Riley Egan puts the okey doke on the ASU defenders. Backhand pass Levin, 1-0 Liberty lead. Fast forward to the second period, game knotted at 3, broken down play, but Sean Murphy finds the back of the net. First lead of the game for ASU. Third period now, crunch time for the Devils. They have numbers down the ice. Murphy just misses a wide open Michael Cummings. All is not lost though. Cummings keeps the play alive. Gianni Mangoni rifles a shot at the crossbar. Lead for ASU stays at 1. Liberty was spicy though, wouldn't go away. That's Kyle Garcia. Hope and pray shot from nearly center ice. It's going to hit off an ASU defender for an own goal. Doesn't have to be pretty for it to work. Game all tied up. ASU though, this team is so cool and collected. Not a minute later, bodies flying all over the place. Dump off pass to Liam Norris. Sniper. We'll take another look at it here. Ice cleared up for Norris. Upper 90, 5-4 ASU lead. They were searching for it all game long though. The decisive goal to seal the deal. Check out the determination from Eric Rivard. On his knees, puck past the keeper. Sun Devils victorious. 6-4 win over Liberty. Here's Coach Powers right after the game.
Game for a goalie. You know, I mean, especially those last two periods, I mean, we really control possession and everything, and there was just some slop, you know, all around in front of them. And their first goal was you know, Temby and Schmitty both went to hit the guy, and then it was a breakaway. That's not on Rob. Second goal went off Murph in front. Third goal was a scramble with, it seemed like 10 guys in the crease, and then the fourth goal went off Eddie. It was just a bunch of flukes.
Gritty performance for ASU. They aren't tested too often, but perhaps that loss against Central Oklahoma woke this team up. Now 11-1 on the season and winners of 3 straight games. Chris Burkemper continues his torrid start to the season, and Tommy Cooney notched 2 assists as well. Here to break down this game in greater detail, Kyler Mead is joined by Cronkite Sports hockey experts Dominic Catronio and Allison Cummings.
All right, thanks very much, Jake. As you guys all saw it right there, huge win, come from behind for Arizona State against a strong Liberty team. Listen, I'm joined now by Dom Contronio, who is our play-by-play man for CronkiteSports.com, as well as Allison Cummings, the czar of all things hockey for Cronkite Sports. Let's start with you, Allie. How close was Liberty to pulling off that upset?
You know, Kyler, they were extremely close. I really want to start out by saying that the rankings going into that game, Liberty was at number 9, Arizona State at number 1. Typically look at that like, okay, they're number 9 team, but that is not the case. Liberty is a very skilled organization. I was talking to Liam Norris on practice on Wednesday, and he said it is not the most skilled team that wins games. It's the team that works the hardest. What did Liberty do? The second they got on the ice, they were working hard from the very beginning. Arizona State a little bit more lackadaisical, and Liberty, it was their game to lose.
You said it. I mean, out-hustling is a team. It's really the only weakness that ASU has. Whenever a team comes in, they're going to get their A game no matter what. But when they get out-worked, out-hustled, they may not be the better team on the ice, but it really kind of gives the ingredients they need for an upset because everybody wants to beat the Sun Devils in the ACHA, the defending national champions.
Pretty hectic finish to the game. Arizona State leading in the third period 4-3. They give up an own goal, and then it leads to that Liam Norris game winner on the other side. How were they able, Dom, to respond so quickly to the mistake in their own end?
Well, you look at this top line for ASU. It's really been the only thing that hasn't moved so far in the year, with Liam Norris centering, with Connor Maley to his left and Ryan Belanger to the right. I want to talk about the Liam Norris goal that set it up. It was made by Connor Maley, though, because of his work. We'll look at it first here in full motion. See Liam Norris coming in here to clean things up. That was almost like the second or third time that had happened with the guy left behind. But now, the actual play. Maley is trying to find Belanger on the far side as they crash in on the net. That's a more logical way to go. And you really look at it and how they came in, they missed the pass there because the defense was really coming in there hard on Liberty. But then Norris, right there, right place, right time, as opposed to McGovern on that own goal in the wrong place at the wrong time. Norris did what any good hockey player would do, go top shelf, beat the goalie, ASU wins, everybody goes home happy.
A lot of cleanup in this game. A lot of that sort of thing is figuring out what to do after something kind of broke down, not entirely the way they intended. That happened in the first period. They were down 2-0. We talked about it. They weren't looking very good at all. One of their worst periods in a while for Arizona State. Allie, how were they able to bounce back from it? Who were the key players in that?
Well, I have this thing called the Deadly Duo, which involves Tommy Cooney and Chris Burkemper. As you can see on the graphic, Burkemper 12 points, Tommy Cooney 14 points. They're both huge contributors to each other. The very first games of the season against Niagara, Burkemper was the assistant. Again, had the assist to Cooney on every single goal. But what's really key about those guys are they're up there with Eric Rivard currently right now. Rivard is a bigger guy. He's a mucker. He can grind out against the other players in the corner. That allows for room for more speedy guys like Burkemper to skate and Cooney to skate, which allows for them to get more scoring opportunities. During the game yesterday, you saw, well, a 2-on-nobody opportunity, and they put it in the back of the net and really just sealed the deal.
So, obviously, as we said, Arizona State comes away with the win over a strong team in Liberty, and they're now on a 3-game winning streak after sweeping Oklahoma last weekend. However, the news comes out this morning, Arizona State drops from the #1 spot in the ACHA down to #2, first time in almost a season since last year, obviously. What's going on there? What's the response going to be for Arizona State?
I think there's going to be no response, and that's a good thing. This isn't really going to bother this team. They finally have the rest of the weekend off for the first time this year, really, because they only had the game last night. Now they get to enjoy it, be college students on a weekend for once, and then next weekend they face the Colorado schools at home, and those are much weaker opponents than Liberty ever was. So it's going to be kind of a thing where they're not worried. It's not like last year where they tried to go undefeated. Now they don't have to worry about it. Just got to make sure they stay in the top 3.
Well, and also I want to add, at the beginning of the year, that's not the time to break out. It's only October. The time to break out for Liberty will be in February. For Arizona State, will be in February.
So thank you very much, Dom Controni, Allison Cummings. They've got everything for you. Arizona State Hockey, CronkiteSports.com. We're going to send it back to Jake at the desk.
To the shock of many, the Arizona State football team survived the brunt of its schedule, going an impressive 2-1 against 3 ranked teams, all without the services of their senior captain, their starting quarterback, Taylor Kelly. The interim quarterback, Mike Bercovici, has been downright impressive, so impressive that he has begun to draw comparisons to the more experienced Kelly. The two quarterbacks are in stark contrast in terms of style of play. Kelly picks apart defenses thanks to the holes that open up from his mobility. Bercovici picks apart defenses simply because of his big-time arm. But while their styles are different, their stats are equally as efficient. And with that, I welcome in video reporter Adriana Torres to discuss some ASU football. Adriana, Bercovici has shredded some of the most stout Pac-12 defenses that the conference has to offer. We'll leave the debate for later in this segment. Some people have been saying that he should continue to get playing time even when Kelly's fully healthy. But what have you seen from Bercovici in his 3 starts?
Well, just from the beginning of the season, he's grown so much, and each and every game. You'll see that this year he was supposed to be in the shadow row, seeing how Taylor Kelly led the team, even though he was practicing each practice as if he was the starter, because next year he will be. But when he was thrown into the QB1 role, he was prepared for it just because of all those practices. And it's pretty impressive, too, that the 3 games that he did play in were very good teams, UCLA, USC, and Stanford. His arm is incredible, and it comes into use in situations as such the Hail Mary, which equates to a win. That got the win for them, making things possible, his arm. He has over 1,200 yards for passing this season in comparison to Taylor Kelly in his 3 starts. We'll take a look at those stats there. Really, in these stats, Mike Bercovici looks like the better quarterback. Of course, there are other things to consider, as always with stats, but Taylor Kelly, you know, he got taken out of games early, and then Mike Bercovici had more difficult opponents. But in going forth after college, NFL looks at guys with the stronger arms, which Mike Bercovici has. But we'll save that for our imagination.
Yeah,
too early for that.
Bercovici's been so impressive that some have even said that he's the better starting quarterback to run this Sun Devil offense. Now, it's an issue that can be divisive, can divide a locker room. It can even take away from the overall goals of the team. But at the same time, Graham has a job, and that job is to put the best players on the field. So I'm going to burden you with the same question that every single ASU beat reporter has to answer. Who is the better starting quarterback to lead this offense? Is it Kelly or Bercovici?
It has to be the guy that led the Sun Devils to the conference championship last year. If Taylor Kelly is as healthy 100% as he says he is, and if he's had enough reps like Todd Graham wants him to, it has to be him. He did nothing wrong to lose that position. One thing that really stands out and makes a difference about Bercovici is that he's really good at the read option. What do I mean by this? Let's take a look at Taylor Kelly's last start against Colorado. He has the ball. You see the two defensive Colorado guys, both of them on their right foot. That is where the momentum is going, towards the running back. Instead, Taylor Kelly takes the ball himself. He can see the field. He has good eyes. He's quick. He thinks. He looks around, scans, sees what else is going on. If we also take a look, Taylor Kelly compared to Bercovici, I said all these great things about Bercovici, but again, rushing, that's where it matters for the Sun Devils, the read option. So let's take a look at these numbers for the rushing statistics. Mike Bercovici has way less rushing yards than Taylor Kelly. Mike Bercovici, 283 in his 3 starts, and then Taylor Kelly, way more than that, 913. And of course, DJ Foster, when he gets together with Taylor Kelly, well, DJ Foster has more than half of the team rushing yards with Kelly, so when he matches up, it's incredible, them two together. Taylor Kelly, he's versatile, and that's what a quarterback needs, especially when Todd Graham is taking these two guys for this start, who's going to start. And a lot of lanes open up with Taylor Kelly because he looks around, he sees there's options in the short field and in the long field.
Yeah, I think something that can't go unnoticed is the fact that Kelly actually averages more yards per completion than Bercovici does. So when we hype up Bercovici's big-time arm, we can't belittle what Taylor Kelly has already proven that he can do with his. But of course, this all depends on the health of Taylor Kelly. I think anyone would agree that a fully healthy Mike Bercovici is better suited to lead the Sun Devils than a less than 100% Taylor Kelly, especially given how important Kelly's feet are to the success of his game. So, how close is Taylor Kelly's right foot to being 100%? Brett Deckert has the answer.
Taylor is our starting quarterback.
It's been 6 weeks, but you heard that right. Kelly is back.
I'm 100%. I'm out there moving really well, back to full speed.
Got him and Mike still split some reps. Taylor got the majority of the reps he normally gets, and thought he looked good today.
And reps are important in Graham's decision-making.
I just don't feel comfortable if a guy can't take the reps in practice. I mean, you can't play at this level and not take the reps in practice. So he's ready to go.
He says his health is good, but now it's about getting back into the swing of things.
The main thing I was just kind of worried with, my eyes, trusting my eyes, the game speed and stuff.
We got to do a great job of owning the ball. We got to do a great job of eliminating negative plays. We're going to go out there and we're going to put together a tremendous plan. And I know Burke will be ready to go, just like he always is ready to go.
For Cronkite Sports, I'm Brett Deckert.
All right, thanks very much, Brett. And obviously, hopefully everybody's healthy, and we should see everyone's best game. All right, now it's time to go away from the X's and the O's and take a little bit of another trip, symbol-wise, more hashtag, more @sign. We're looking at the social lives of these Arizona State athletes and coaches, at least the social lives that they broadcast to us via social media. We've got Gavin Shaw in studio to talk about that. Gavin, what do we got?
Well, guys, I made a decision. I'm 100% done with Twitter. I feel like all these hashtags and emoticons are just kind of self-indulgent, so I decided to move on to a different social medium. Snapchat didn't really work out for me. Todd Graham just ended up sending me repeated pictures of freshman linebacker DJ Calhoun with hearts in his eyes. It was getting really weird. Herb Sendick hasn't even been on MySpace since 2005. Don't even get me started on LinkedIn. Taylor Kelly refuses to connect with me. I don't know why. I sent him the politest possible messages again and again. Guys, Jason Chesler normally says it. This time I picked it. It's your Sun Devil Tweets of the Week. And let's get started with that first one. Mike Bercovici, and Jake, you pointed out a grammatical error to me. That's not acceptable.
I did. I'm big on grammar. I used the wrong there. But Gavin, this should be okay to you because he threw out the re-to-spect or re-to-pect hashtag. He's your boy Derek Jeter. You got to give him some love, right?
I'm not okay with it. This is a backup quarterback. It's reserved for the Jeets. Kyler, what are your thoughts?
I mean, obviously, what we're saying, Mike Bercovici is number 2. He's saying re-to-pect to himself. Listen, I'd be happy to re-to-pect you, Mike. You're going to have to use the correct syntax.
Again, hashtags are always self-serving. Let's move on to this next tweet. The Last Chill, Willie Atwood himself, kind of talking about, I believe these are Drake lyrics, guys. What do you make out of this? This guy's an enigma. he's too smart for me. You guys talk about it.
Listen, I don't know anything about this. I didn't realize Willie Atwood was such a sensitive, creative soul. It's really nice to see that. The interesting thing, however, is he's saying he can't find the prefect brush. And of course, as we all know, the prefect is the leader of a house, a student leader of a house in Harry Potter. Prefect frequently was, of course, Percy, Ron's older brother, during the early books, and then later on, I think Ron and Hermione, if I'm not mistaken, took over. So I don't know exactly what a prefect brush would look like. I know that they have their own bathrooms and stuff like that, so maybe that's what it is. He's trying to get a key to the prefect's bathroom in Hogwarts.
Willie Atwood just moved up a few notches in my book. That's deep stuff right there. On social media, an ASU basketball player, great stuff from Willie Atwood. I'll be definitely looking forward to seeing him in action this year.
And I hope he finds that brush.
Guys, I wasn't even as close to as enthusiastic as both of you were. I don't want any of my basketball players to have anything to do with Drake. If anyone saw that video of him at Kentucky's practice, airball. I don't want anyone listening to Drake. I don't want anyone tweeting Drake. I don't even want anyone LinkedInning Drake. Let's move on to that next one.
But Drake always supports champions. So if you're fans with, if you got
he also supports the Toronto Raptors. So I think it's pretty 50-50. All right, Whitney Follett, and guys, I don't know if she was injured. I guess it's okay to indulge. Sometimes she melted vanilla ice cream with frosted flakes. That just seems like a recipe for diabetes for me. What did you guys think?
Yeah, let me tell you something here. My mom wouldn't even let me have frosted flakes when I was a kid, and now she is going and adding vanilla ice cream into hers. I guess that's why she #college life now that her mom is not living with her anymore, but it's something that I could never even imagine doing.
Well, she also # we out of milk, so that's obviously good. What I like is that she said she literally just melted this stuff, as opposed to perhaps figuratively doing it, which would have then led me to think maybe she and Willie Atwood are on that same sort of creative plane, which is very concerning. We don't want creativity from our athletes. We want focus.
Well, it's all about the metaphorical level. Come on, Kyler.
Exactly. Well, hey, listen, fortunately, it's not metaphorical. It was literal. She literally just melted ice cream. So I've actually done that. It's not as good as it sounds. It's just kind of the worst of both worlds. The ice cream isn't very good. You kind of ruin it with some funky crunchy going on in there. And it's not as refreshing as when you get some nice milk. So.
Guys, I want nothing to do with anything funky crunchy. I'll be back later on. You guys take it.
Thanks, Adam.
For some, October is the best month for sports. Postseason baseball, college football, and the NFL are in full swing and showcase the most intense matchups at the highest of stakes. For others, October is the month for scaring others. People dressed as ghosts, goblins, and witches peruse countless neighborhoods to instill the utmost of fear in passersby. But in the past 3 seasons, ASU volleyball has failed to scare anyone in the month of October. The stats are unsightly, a record of 3-21 with 65 of 92 total sets lost. In each of those 3 seasons, ASU lost at least 2 times the amount of sets it won. That's a sets winning percentage of 29%. Let's just say the team certainly doesn't view the month as favorably as everyone else. Fortunately, the Sun Devil volleyball team has somewhat weathered the October storm in 2014. The team resides at 3-3 in October this year, with matchups against Oregon, Oregon State, and Utah still on the docket. But still, a 500 record is not something any team strives for, and problems persist. Here to dissect one of those problems, Kyler Mead is joined by Cronkite Sports beat writer Zach Pockleb. Gentlemen.
Thanks very much, Jake. And it's not just problems, obviously. As we mentioned, they are 500, so half the time things are going right.
Yeah.
But one of the big problems, they got Whitney Follett back. That's great. On the other end of things, though, Brielle Bailey, one of their most important players, has been struggling.
Yeah, she started off the season really well. She showed the improvement that she worked on during the summer, but the last 5 matches, she struggled immensely to be an efficient attacker. On that right side pin, when Bianca Arellano sets her, she's looking for a kill or at least an effective attack to put pressure on the opposing team's defense. She hasn't been doing that. She's been producing a lot more errors than points. She's giving the other team points. In fact, she has 32 attacking errors in the past 5 matches compared to 31 in the first 10. So obviously she's having some struggles there.
And we can see a negative hit percentage. How does that even work, a negative hit percentage?
Well, attacking percentages work. They take the kills minus the errors divided by attempts. And so when you have more errors than kills, you end up with that negative number that you see on your screen right there.
So that's not where you want to be. So what's going on? What's the problem?
Well, the Pac-12 is more effective blockers, better defenses, and that can cause some issues with your confidence. And when your confidence is down, she's having a fundamental breakdown in her attacking approach. She's not as aggressive. She's trying to do a little more than she needs to. She needs to be more aggressive, staying behind the ball. She's getting underneath it. You're going to see it right here. Against California, it's a little bit of a scramble situation, and she's going to right there, she's looking up at the ball. She's directly looking up. She doesn't see the block, and so she's going to bring it right down into there because she didn't want to mess up. She was being a little bit more tentative. What she needs to do when Brielle Bailey is at her best, she stays behind the ball right there, keeps it in front of her. She sees the block. She sees the opposing team's defense, and she really utilizes her long arms to get a powerful attack on the ball. She's a great attacker. She has potential to be one of the better attackers in the Pac-12, but it's that consistency and her confidence and approach that is failing her right now.
That's great. I mean, the B-roll there is really showing you exactly what you need to see. So, Oregon State coming up. Oregon tonight at 4 p.m. Pretty soon right after this. They're up in Eugene. That's a big ranked matchup right there for Arizona State. Let's give us a quick prediction for Oregon State.
Well, Oregon runs one of the fastest offenses in the country, not just the Pac-12. And if Brielle Bailey's struggling to not only hit but block as well, ASU's going to have some troubles. Oregon's on a hot streak. Liz Brenner is playing really well. So I don't think ASU's going to come out with a victory there. But Oregon State, although Oregon State's a great blocking team, ASU is just more talented up and down. They still do have Macy Gardner, one of the best outside hitters in the entire country. Going to get hot. Kizzy Whitney Follett's been playing wonderfully, so I think they're going to get a road split in this weekend.
All right, Zach, thanks very much. For all things Arizona State volleyball, you got Zach Pokleb on CronkiteSports.com. Thanks, man. All right, so let's move on to Arizona State soccer, where every goal matters as they approach the end of their regular season. The Sun Devils have not been short of offense this season, but what about the other side of the pitch? Andrew Chapman sat down with the anchor to the Arizona State defense, goalkeeper Chandler Morris, who's boosting ASU's tournament hopes, save by save.
On a playing surface larger than a football field, there's a lot that can happen over a 90-minute span. But it's right here, in front of goal, where games are won and lost. And for the Sun Devils this year, it's goalkeeper Chandler Morris who has the final say. On any given day, you can find Chandler Morris between a pair of goalposts. From the moment the Sun Devil keeper stepped in goal at a young age, she knew it was meant to be.
I was actually playing outside back, and our goalkeeper didn't show up to a game, and my dad was like, she'll play, and I got a shutout that game. The next game, the goalkeeper came back, and I was like, nah, I think I'll stay.
Now a senior at Arizona State, Morris leads a team that had one goal in mind since day one of practice, making the postseason. And those tournament hopes, they became a reality after Chandler allowed just one goal to upset Texas A&M.
I mean, after that game, it was really kind of, I guess, reassuring to see that what our game can get us. So I think it did give kind of a lot of confidence that if we focus on ourselves and our own team and not really worry about who we're playing, that it could get positive results.
After a 1-1 draw against UCLA, Chandler emerged as the goalkeeper to watch in the Pac-12. Currently atop the Pac-12 in saves and second all-time in shutouts at ASU, it would be easy to get caught up in the moment. But for this goalkeeper, it's not about the numbers. It's simply about playing the game and making the most of her final season.
You know, one of my goals at the beginning of the year was to leave everything on the field. It's my senior year, so you know, just going into every game and playing every game like it's my last. You know, whether it's we're up 5-0 and just maintaining the shutout. Like I just hate getting scored on. When I step out on the field, it's, you know, playing for the other 10 people that are on the field with me, playing for, you know, the other, just playing for the team.
4 of those players make up the ASU back line, a defense led by Chandler, and that has been in sync time in and time out.
The communication with the center backs, I think, is a big thing because they're both right in front of me. But I mean, I think all of us communicate pretty well and giving each other feedback and making adjustments throughout the game.
Her biggest challenge yet may come this Sunday against Stanford, a game where she and 3 teammates will be honored on senior night. But like a true goalkeeper, it's about setting emotions aside and shutting down the net.
I know it's going to be emotional, but I've kind of just haven't really thought about it at all, building up, and you know, it's just another game and another day I get to go play.
Well, we go from a package on Chandler Morris, ASU's goalie, who's been the model of consistency, 53 starts in the team's last 55 games, to a segment that prides itself in the complete opposite. That's right, a churning cycle of fresh new faces every week is the motto for Impact. To bring you a look at how the rest of the teams in the Pac-12 influenced the one in Tempe, here's Langston Fields.
Thank you, Jake. I am happy to be a new face, and I'm also happy to talk about the craziness that is the Pac-12 South. Unlike the North, there are 5 teams that could possibly win the South. 5 of the 6 teams in the South have at least 2 wins in the conference. So what does that mean? It means that the Pac-12 South is basically anyone's game. USC leads the Pac-12 South with a 4-1 conference record. Behind them is an Arizona State team with a 3-1 conference record. And then we see a Utah and Arizona team tied with 2 conference wins. As it's clear to see, the race for the Pac-12 South title is a tight one, and anyone can win the South. And also, every one of those teams has a conference game this weekend. One game this week that I think has the biggest impact on those standings is the USC versus Utah game. Both in the South, both top 25, both trying to go to a Pac-12 championship. And not only is it a conference game, it is also a divisional game that could change the standings very quickly. A Utah win could easily make the standings more even on terms of conference record and of who can win the division. A Utah win could mean a lot to ASU. If Utah wins and ASU wins, ASU moves to the top of the South, but a UC win will allow them to continue to lead the South with a potential 5-1 conference record. We have a USC team that has beaten Stanford and Arizona, but lost Arizona State. Then we see a Utah team who upset UCLA, the team that creamed ASU on their own field. The Pac-12 South has been so flip-flop this year, it's hard to see who will win. Visiting teams in the Pac-12 have a record of 16-7 in conference play, which means teams are having a hard time winning at home. Every team in the South has a conference game this week, but by how the season has gone, an upset can occur at any time. Even though the South is a dogfight, ASU still controls its own destiny, with the progressing ASU defense facing a Washington offense that is dead last in total offense in the Pac-12. ASU should take over this game, but with the amount of upsets occurring to every team, nobody is safe. That's impact. Now back to the guys at the desk.
Thanks, Langston. Knocked that out of the park, man. I really appreciate that. All right, so we've got all the stuff out of the way, all the information that you need to know. Everything's gone. Now it's time for the part of this program where we fight about things. So we brought Gavin Shaw in once again for this debate segment, and I'm just going to say, Jake, I almost always win. So I hope you're ready.
Well, freshman face, I'm ready to take it.
All right. Gavin, what do you have for us, man?
All right, well, guys, I'm going to start off with a little bit of bad news. Jason Chesler, Kerry Crowley, they're in trouble. They didn't really fully understand the legality of mid-1980s Indian gambling laws, so it turns out they're in Washington trying to get that figured out. So I'm here trying to take over, and I'm still going to ask you guys some questions. And I found over time that I don't think the debate people are motivated. There's just arbitrary points, made-up gambling money. It never really works. So I'm going to put something tangible on the table.
Oh, boy.
The metaphorical funky crunchy.
Oh, my goodness.
On the big boys table.
Is that approved by our sponsors?
I think so. Kit Kat? I think we're good.
Give me a break, Gavin. All right.
Anyways, I'm going to throw out this first question. Is it the right move to go back to Taylor Kelly as the starting quarterback for the Arizona State Sun Devils? Guys?
Let's start things off. It is not the right move. Mike Bercovici, he can make all the throws. We've seen him already. Mike, he's been inside the 10-yard line. He's been absolutely killer. He's able to high punt the ball. He's incredibly impressive, able to move the ball from anywhere on the field to any other point of the field at any given time. I say go with Mike Bercovici.
I disagree, Kyler. I say if Taylor Kelly is fully healthy, then he's the starting quarterback for this team. Not only is he one of the most well-respected guys, a senior captain, but he just executes the offense better than Mike Bercovici does. We can say it's clicking on all cylinders right now, but I say it's unsustainable. It's been unbalanced for Mike Bercovici. Taylor Kelly, in my opinion, the clear-cut starter. You go back to him with confidence. Gavin, you give me that Kit Kat with confidence.
Well, guys, great analysis, but I can't give either of you the point. The main character in this debate is DJ Foster. The guy was a Heisman candidate with Taylor Kelly, and under Mike Bercovici, I think he's averaging something like 3 yards a carry. So I'm not giving either of you a point. Foster was the guy to mention. I'm sorry.
This is very disappointing.
I think that was already addressed in the segment, though, so it was kind of a given that we didn't have to go back to it.
I like repetitive.
Look at what you've got here. We're teaming up against you now, Gavin. And you even brought us candy.
You know, I'll be fair. I'll give myself -1. You guys are still at 0. Let's keep moving on.
As long as I'm beating someone.
Over under 1 win for Sun Devil volleyball this week, and they have Whitney Follett back, the ice creamaholic. I don't know if that's a word, but that's what I'm calling her.
I say under 1 win. They don't win either of these games. I watched this team last weekend against a lowly Washington State team that's 0-8. They struggled to get some intensity for that game, and now they have to go to the Oregon schools and manufacture their own intensity. I don't see that happening. Oregon's ranked 7th in the country for a reason. Oregon State, they have lost 4 of 5, but look at their schedule. Incredibly tough these past few games. I think ASU volleyball has some serious problems need addressing. Zach Pogleb talked about one of them. I say they go 0-2 this weekend.
All right, I've got this win locked up because you went way over your time, Jake. Welcome to the big show. However, I'm going to say this. They are going to win one game. They're much better than Oregon State. It would be a monumental upset against Oregon. Oregon, who's a very good team. You know, Zach talked about it, as he said. Just, it's not there. Oregon State is going to win, so they push. One win.
We're going to be breaking the Kit Kat. I'm okay breaking some rules. Jake gets that point. And now, final question. Let's throw one out here.
Pushed under the rug.
Arizona State soccer. They take on Stanford and Cal this weekend. What do you guys think happens?
Stanford's one of the best teams in the country, number 2 in the country, I believe. And there's just, listen, Arizona State soccer, I believe in a big way. I think they absolutely take down Cal, who's a ways down. Still a strong team. I do believe, once again, just one win. Stanford's so good. They're on the road. It's just a tough situation to be in. So I'm going to go ahead with one win.
You said I'm a new face on the show, but I'm going to go the very smart route here. I'm going to agree with you. They go 1-1. Cal's website boasts that they've only had one road loss. Well, that's because they haven't played anyone on the road. 3 matchups, and their one road loss was against an actually good team. Callie Farquharson, Allie Moon, firing on all cylinders. Sun Devils 1-1, lose to Stanford on Sunday.
Guys, I think you both had incredible analysis, but Kyler said it himself. Kyler wins all of these. And Jake just agreed with a winner. So I have to go with Jake for the win.
Oh,
but having said all that, nobody can have this Kit Kat. We just spent this entire show getting angry with Whitney Follett for eating way too much sugar. I can't endorse more sugar for you guys. You guys are hyper enough as it is. Throwing it out. Top place, Don. You guys got it.
This has taken quite a turn. All right, Gavin, get out of here. Good work. All right, that's the point in our show where we cheer ourselves up after failing to acquire candy. That's really tough for a fat guy, Jake. So I know it's easy for you, Mr. Cut and Chisel, but
no comment there.
All right, it's the point of the show where we cheer ourselves up with top plays. Let's kick it off. Top play number 3. Starting things off, it's going to be Robert Levin on the power play defense. Look at this. Shroop goes with the splits. Robert Levin keeping it just 1-0. ASU would go on to win.
Splits are nice, but hits are better. Lloyd Carrington goes blindside on Kevin Hogan and absolutely decks him. Proceeds to eat his favorite name brand cereal. So nice, we're going to watch it again one more time in slow-mo. When trees like Hogan fall in the middle of the forest, Lloyd Carrington is there to ensure they make a sound.
Name brand cereals for suckers, unless it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch, always go Moms. All right, back to Arizona State. Check this out. Trying to protect the lead, down 1 minute left to go in the period. In the game, I should say, it's Eric Rivard redeeming himself from his knees. Look at that. That was impressive. That put the game away with a minute to go. And Arizona State won. Huge win for Arizona State. And a huge win for America, because Jake Garcia is here at the desk. Jake, great first show.
Thank you, Kyler. I deeply appreciate it. Happy to be here still.
I deeply appreciate you. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. A lot going on. Arizona State volleyball later on. And we got D2 hockey broadcast later on this weekend. So make sure to tune in to CronkiteSports.com for that and for everything else Arizona State sports. Thanks very much to our crew. Thanks to you, Jake.